What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video here at the Decent Garage. So it's been snowing for the past couple days on and off, so I haven't been able to work on the seats in the trucks. Next week it's supposed to be a lot nicer, so we'll get back to working on that. But since we're kind of confined into the garage today, we're going to be doing something that I think will interest a lot of people, regardless of whether you're here for first gen stuff, Jeep stuff. What I'm going to show you today will be applicable really to anything, even into ATVs, dirt bikes, anything with plastic on it you're going to want to watch. What I have here, and I ordered this actually a couple months ago and I played with it a little bit, but this is a plastic welder. I'm going to put a link to this in the description box of the video. This one is a little bit nicer. I think it was around $110. There are some cheaper ones. I'll put a link to one of them in the description box, but I can't attest for how well those cheaper ones work. I wanted to spend just a little bit more money to have one that would last a little bit longer. So I'll have a link to this and a cheaper one in the description. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you guys everything that comes with it. And then I have a door panel, a rear trim piece for up above the rear window in the first gen, and then I have my fan shroud for my Jeep here. So these are all common pieces that you guys have on your trucks or projects. I know first gen fan shrouds go for a lot of money, so this is a way you could fix yours without having to buy a new one. And first gen plastics aren't reproduced. You have to find used ones. So if you have used ones that are cracked, this is a great option. So let me show you what's in the box, and then we'll do it on a couple of these pieces and I'll show you how well it works. All right, so when you order this, I kind of like that it comes in its own little toolbox. It's a cheap toolbox. I think I've seen these exact same toolboxes at Harbor Freight, but it's a nice gesture. So let's open it up. So you have some instructions. It's a pretty intuitive tool, so not to say you don't need the instructions, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So here we have the machine with the power cord. Comes with a pair of clippers. I'll show you what those are for in just a second. And then it comes with a bunch of variations of different brackets that you can use. And you can see it's empty now. And then this is the last piece, and like I said, I'll show you what we're going to use that for in just a second. So let me grab the door panel, and I'm going to show you how we're going to address the crack in the door panel, which is super common in those first gen door panels. All right, so you can see right here, this is a pretty common area for these to crack. Right there you can see that crack, and it kind of comes up here a little, even goes down into that little joint space right there. We've got a bunch of different, they look like staples, but essentially they're different shapes and sizes so that they can fit into different areas of the plastics. Now that is where the instructions come in handy, because it kind of explains what areas certain staples work better for. So I'm going to start with one of these that, again, looks very much like a staple with a little bit of a zigzag in it. And all you do, you grab the gun. Now the gun has holes coming straight off the tip at about a 30-degree angle and then at a right angle. Okay, so depending on your access to the area, you can put the staple in differently to get better access. So I'm going to put this right in the very tip one, and it just kind of sets right in there. Now what we do is we power the machine on with the button on the back, and then there's a power button on the front, and there is a trigger button here on the wand. So all we're going to do is hold the plastic exactly where we want it, hold the trigger button, and you'll see it heat up. Heat it up, sink it in just a little bit. And once it's sunk in, all you do is a little bit of a twist so that it kind of sinks underneath the plastic. So let me show you what that looks like. Right there you can see it. And you have to be careful because it gets so hot that I could easily push that all the way out through the front. So you just barely put it in and then a little twist. And now you can see that at least that portion is somewhat more tied together. So just doing one staple for a crack this big is not going to be enough. We really need to do a couple more, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a couple all along the crack, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, so we've got quite a few staples in there, and you can see it's super sturdy. I could put a couple more in here if I really wanted to, but for demonstration purposes, that's going to be enough. Now, they supply this cutoff tool that works well to cut off ones that are easily accessible, such as this one. Just snip it off. But if you have any that are kind of tucked down in there, you may have to get a different angle of cutoff tool or tin snips or something. So this works really well. I'm super impressed with it. All right, so we got that part done on this door panel, and this is just a spare panel I have sitting around, so not too important. But I do have a crack in the panel on the OG crew cab that I'm going to fix with this now that I have it. Now let's take a look at this trim piece that's going to be a little trickier. Okay, so one thing that's tricky about this is the plastic is a lot thinner than what it was on the door panel. So in this case, using these staples becomes a little more difficult because again, you have to have enough plastic to sink it in there and kind of twist it and get it underneath there, but not too much to where you push it all the way through. So in my experimenting, that is where this piece came in handy. So I'm not expecting this to turn out 100% perfect. If you got up there with a close eye and really looked at it, you could tell that it had been fixed, but it's going to be better than having a broken piece and not this hole to fasten it up into the cab. So let's try this out and see how it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get some masking tape. We're going to try as good as we can to kind of tape this together where we want it. And that worked pretty good. We have this little, I don't know what it's called. I'll call it a spade bit because that's what it looks like. And it just kind of wedges on there. And again, with this, you're not actually embedding any staples. I'm going to push the button. It's going to heat the tip up. And I'm going to come in here and kind of mend some of that plastic together in a crossing over the crack, kind of in a circular fashion. All right. All right, so you can see all those little marks. Now again, you don't want to push too hard. So let's turn it over and take our piece of tape off. And there you can see I can wiggle it with some decent pressure and it stays on there. Now you can also see, again, it's not perfect. If I really wanted this to be perfect, I might get some very fine sandpaper and kind of sand it just a little bit. Another thing I'll point out is near this edge, I kind of got a little too much heat and it burnt through just a little bit. So again, it takes a lot of finesse. It takes being soft and gentle with it and just taking your time. But I would not be afraid to put this piece up in my truck if this was a piece I needed. And this last piece is the fan shroud from Lieutenant Dan, and you can see there's a crack right there. So I'm going to do this one pretty quick. All right, there we have it. So again, it's just a nice way to be able to use some of the old parts that you may have around that would still be good if they didn't have the cracked plastic. When I pulled this fan shroud off, I was kind of disappointed to see that it was cracked, and I knew that if I bought something aftermarket, it wouldn't be as good a quality. So I was a little disappointed, but now with this plastic welder, I'm really excited at the stuff I'm going to be able to fix, such as my dirt bike, kids' toys even, fan shrouds, interior plastics. The sky is really the limit with this tool. So go check this tool out. Like I said, I don't know how the cheaper version works. I really like how fast this one, once you hit the button, it takes only 2 or 3 seconds for it to make that staple red hot. I would doubt the cheaper one heats it up that fast, but who knows? Like I said, this is a little more expensive, a little over $100, but in my mind, it's well worth it. It feels very sturdy. It works really, really well. I'm excited to use this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys check this product out, especially you first gen guys. Without the interior trim pieces being available, this is kind of a tool you're gonna have to own. So like this video if you haven't yet, share this if you see anyone asking about broken plastics in any vehicles. Recommend this video to them. I think it'll be helpful. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next video.